Hello, my name is Nakoa Brown, and I will be talking about flexibility. Flexibility, from an emotional standpoint, is the measure of how a person adapts to fluctuating stimulations, demands, reconfigures mental resources, shifts perspectives, and balances competing desires, needs, and life domains. Because people encounter new situations every day and have to learn to work around them, they must be very flexible and know how to deal with the stress that comes from challenges and difficulties. Some are better at this than others, and according to Dr. Sayan Bielak, author of the article Want to Successfully Manage Your Emotions, Be Flexible, for several decades now, psychologists have been very interested in how people successfully control their emotions in stressful situations. The idea is that if we can understand how healthy people manage their emotions, we may be able to improve the lives of those with depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety are both characterized as breakdowns of the emotional equilibrium. Researchers are having a hard time with this because humans are so complex and diverse. Because of humans' complexity, research is showing that there is no one-size-fits-all endeavor. Rather, involves bringing the right emotional regulation strategy to bear on situations. Simply put, different emotional contexts require different regulation processes. People can regulate their emotions in different ways. On the one hand, incoming emotional information can be regulated by the brain processes that prevent the information from capturing too much of our attention to begin with. A distraction strategy, for instance, involves disengaging from negative emotion by producing distracting thoughts that are neutral in nature. These thoughts are designed to prevent our emotional reactions from gaining too much force in our minds. For example, after your boss questions your ability to do your job, instead of thinking about the fact you might soon lose your work, you might think about what you are going to do this weekend with your friends. Incoming emotional information often does creep into our conscious thoughts, gaining momentum in its severity. Another strategy that can be employed to deal with our emotions once we have captured our attention is reappraisal. Reappraisal involves thinking about the emotional information in a way that reduces its negative meaning. Instead of being upset by getting to work late, you reason that since you are always on time, it is not a big deal. As it happens, healthy individuals manage their emotions by using reappraisal, which allows for emotional processing. When the intensity of a negative emotion is low and there is an opportunity to reframe the situation and distraction. This tends to block emotional processing when negative emotion runs high and there is not enough time to productively deal with stress. To demonstrate this flexibility, researchers at Stanford University showed healthy students emotional pictures that varied in intensity, a sad face versus a bloody face. People were allowed to freely choose between using their reappraisal or distraction as an emotional regulation strategy after seeing the pictures. In another experiment, instead of the pictures, folks saw a warning for an electric shock that they were about to receive. The warning was for a shock that would be either low or high voltage and intensity. Again, people were allowed to choose their emotional regulation strategy before they received a little electric stimulation or a lot. In both of the pictures and shock situations, people overwhelmingly chose distraction to deal with their intense negative emotion, including situations and reappraisal for a less intense one, suggesting that successful regulation of our emotion is all about picking the right strategy for the right occasion. However, one important unanswered question is how people vary in their ability to apply the appropriate emotional regulation strategy and whether its variability predicts long-term emotional health. However, given that depression is thought to involve an inflexible rodent engagement in high-intensity negative emotion, information, and anxiety is thought to involve an inflexible avoidant disagreement from low-intensity negative information, the current findings suggest that flexibility may be one key to emotional well-being.